What's happening, YouTube? You back in the building with the Black Avengers of Life Gains and Current Culture. Me and Larry. T Streams is doing his thing, making his money. But Larry, my brother, how you feeling?
Man, I'm feeling like my skin color is not a crime. That's how I'm feeling. You know, people need to understand. They need to recognize.
It's not a crime. It is not a crime. Even though sometimes some of us be acting out of pocket, that don't mean it's a crime.
All right.
It don't mean it's a crime. And for those of you joining us today, we've got a pretty good show today, pretty packed show. We've got a lot of things we're going to cover. We're going to talk about what happened with the stock market today. Why did it have such a major crash? We're going to talk about coronavirus going up in 7 states. We're going to talk about the president saying he's going to give more coronavirus money. When y'all know me and Larry predicted this when it first started, because we said if it got worse, he was going to do something to win more votes. So we got to talk about that. Then we got a little bitch ass guy. Me and Larry hate these young bitch ass dudes that do stupid stuff. I'll show you the video. Then we're going to drill his punk ass. And then, of course, the headliner on the show today, Jamie Foxx, getting ready to play Mike Tyson, my long lost cousin. Take a look at this, Larry, and then we're going to discuss it.
I think when we lay the layers on Mike Tyson in this story, I think everybody from young and old will be able to understand this man's journey.
Jamie's been training hard and bulking up as he prepares to play Tyson. He recently posted these pics of his shredded new physique on Instagram.
Every other day, I do 60 pull-ups. We do 60 dips. We do 100 push-ups.
Jamie's been talking to us about doing a biopic on since 2015, where he gave us a quick glimpse of how he'll be playing Iron Mike.
I think you shouldn't impersonate. The impersonation is, hi, I'm Mike Tyson. Welcome to Mike Tyson Heavyweight Fight. That's the impersonation. The real Mike is this. How you doing, my brother? To do the impersonation would sink you. It's just like with Ray Charles. I said, hey, I really want to do you. I want to do you right. He said, hey, you know what? If you can do the blues, man, you can do it all.
If anyone knows what it takes to transform into a real-life character, it's Jamie. 2005, he won the Oscar for his portrayal of Ray Charles.
This really is a dream, and it's an unexpected dream come true.
Jamie told us about his first meeting with the champ. He was 21 years old doing stand-up when he noticed his jokes about Tyson weren't landing with the audience.
I get to that joke, and when I get to the joke, nobody laughs. And a dude who I'm friends with still today yell out, yo, Mike is in here.
I came out to you, you go ahead, you do it, but it better be funny. And that's how I met him.
That's true. That is so true. And so I do the joke, get a standing ovation. He comes up, come hang out with me. I want you to hang out with me.
As Tyson's friend, Jamie has had a very unique perspective. He's seen Mike at the height of his fame and at his most humble after losing his $300 million fortune.
That's it. How you doing, Mike? All praise to Allah, my brother. I'm happy. I said, why? Because I don't have any money anymore, so nobody can take anything from me anymore. So I'm happy because there was a lot of vultures.
Yeah, man. So let me say this. It seems like Jamie Foxx is underrated, even though I know he's an Oscar winner, a Grammy winner, talent in all kinds of things. To me, sometimes I feel like he doesn't get the recognition he deserves. This man can sing. This man can act. This man can tell jokes. This man can hold up a concert all by himself. So on the strength of that, and then me knowing some of the minute details of what Mike Tyson went through, you know, some of us might have forgotten about the Robin Givens issue. Some of us might have forgotten about how him and his manager broke up because his manager basically stripped that man of all his money, his integrity, and some other issues. And then there was some drugs. So I am very interested to see this. And we know Jamie Foxx is going to knock it out the park. I mean, we have no question about that. So, Larry, are you looking forward to the Jamie Foxx playing Mike Tyson biopic?
I am. The only thing I'm a little hesitant about it is that Jamie Foxx is a bit old, man. I mean, he doesn't look old, which may be something that helps, but Jamie Foxx is 50 plus years old. And when Mike Tyson became the heavyweight champ, dude was only, I think, 18, 19. I mean, he was a very, very young man. I mean, he was barely into adulthood. And if they're starting back that far, which I mean, if you're telling the Mike Tyson story, you can't you can't help but start back that far. I mean, that is really when his story became relevant to the public, when he became the youngest heavyweight champion of all times. And so that's my only concern about Jamie Foxx playing that character, is, playing Tyson, is that he's a little bit old for it. But, Hollywood and their special effects, they do some really wonderful things to age people up and age people down. So, I mean, as long as he has the physical physique, I'm sure they can do some prosthetics or whatever they need to do to sort of age him downward to make sure he looks young and so, but yeah, I mean, I think what he was saying was really spot on. There's a difference between doing an impersonation of someone, and then actually playing that character, the character of them. And so I think that, you can see how much of you can see the big difference what he did with just sort of the comical, hey, I'm Mike Tyson, blah, blah, blah. And then when he dialed it way back to just playing, to just sort of trying to do Mike. So I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good. I mean, I remember him talking about this biopic a long time ago, so it's going to be exciting to see it finally come about.
Yeah, man, I'm happy he's doing it, and I would like to see more of Jamie Foxx in Hollywood, because I went to see the man in concert when he did Ray, and Homeboy came out there, did an hour of jokes that was all funny. Then the next thing you know, he goes to the back, comes out in a white limousine dressed up, playing Ray on the piano, and not to mention, I forgot to tell y'all, the brother can sing too.
Yeah.
I mean, just blessed with immense talent, and I think that sometimes we tend to forget just how talented this brother really is. He's a good dude, man, real good dude.
Yeah, it's funny because when I was reading some stuff about him a while back, and he was saying that he only got into acting as a way of being able to sing. He really, when he came up, he wanted to be a singer, or when he wanted to be a singer. And then he got into comedy and acting because he wanted to be able to put himself in a position to sing. And so it's kind of funny that he was just so good at comedy and acting that he could still sing, obviously, but that may be his first love, but he's apparently quite good at all the other stuff. I would actually love to see him go and perform on Broadway and hopefully win a Tony, because then he would be one of those, what do they call him, an EGOT?
Yeah, man.
I guess an EGOT, a Grammy, Oscar, and a Tony. Or no, he'd have to win it. I don't know if he has an Emmy. He'd have to get the Grammy.
He's got an Emmy.
Tony.
He got an Emmy for that Jamie Foxx show.
Okay. Then he would be, I guess he'd be an EGOT if he got it, because it'd be the Emmy, the Grammy, Oscar, and the Tony. He just needs a Tony. So he already has all the others. So yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, man. So you guys post your comments if you think Jamie Foxx is going to play a good Mike Tyson, and would you like to see him more? Before we get into the very last subject of the beginning segment, we're going to talk about there is about to be some more COVID-19 stimulus money. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before I show you this video, let me break it down for you what's going on. But first, shouts out to Miss Chris the Sis. Shouts out to Buzz. Shouts out to Mike Willie. Shouts out to Juan. Shouts out to wait, my man there, L Boogie. Yeah, man, I got to rock the Dolphins hat. I've got a little Miami Dolphin outfit, Miami Heat outfit for baby L. I got to rock with him. And
Juan Hollins from Hollins, Queens. No, I don't know if he's from Hollins, but what up, Juan Hollins?
Man. And so President Trump made a statement about releasing coronavirus money. And we've seen a stark increase in the red states, the states that opened up early versus the states that kept things shut down, versus New York, New Jersey, Michigan, Connecticut. And one of the things that I think that bothers me, that I fear, is that if you only watch Fox News or programs that support red states, you really are probably thinking that this thing is a hoax, because I turned to Fox today to just do a comparison of what information they're putting out versus what you're getting from, hell, not even CNN, but information you're getting from business channels. Business channels is where I would go when I want to get something unbiased, because these people are truly about the money. I mean, the politics is out for them unless it's somehow a way can involve their money. So take a look at what Trump had to say, and we're going to discuss it and break it down after you see what he had to say in terms of we could be getting more stimulus money.
We will be doing another stimulus package. It'll be very good. It'll be very generous. And
how much? How much? How much? People want to know.
You'll find out about it. You'll find out.
When are you going to do it? When are you going to announce it?
I think over the next, I think it's going to be bipartisan. I think it's going to be over the next couple of weeks, probably.
On Saturday night, you said that you told your staff to slow the testing down to improve the numbers. Does that mean someone watching this right now on their local news is not going to get a test because you asked your staff?
We do more testing than any country in the world by far. 25 million tests. Other countries do 1 million. Every time you do a test, as you do more tests, it shows more and more cases. So we're so far advanced, both in terms of the quality and the amount, and we're doing all these tests and it shows cases. If other countries aren't doing, or if we did slow it down, we wouldn't show nearly as many cases.
What's up, Tim? Larry, before I give it to you, I was watching Fox News today, Fox Business News, not Fox News, but Fox Business News.
Right.
And then I flipped to CNBC. Even their Republican economists, their Republican business strategists are pulling their hair out when they hear this man say we're pulling back on tests. They don't understand why he's telling people in his bubble that testing is a bad thing because it's showing you more results. Because either we know who's got it and we work around that, or we don't know who got it. Everybody gets sick, which hurts commerce even worse. Like I said, on the business channel, they're purely coming from a commerce standpoint. What's best for commerce? And we know that America does not have an appetite to shut down the economy again. But I fear that if you don't venture outside of the Fox News bubble, all you're hearing is that it's really not that serious. It's no worse than the flu. And the only reason we're having so many rates of increase is because we're doing more testing, which in essence, that is a true statement. But that does not mean that you stop testing for something that put a halt on the economy in the past. So having said that, Larry, I give it to you with this. Is it going to be good to give us another stimulus? And what can we do to get these people who just seem to think it's a Trump hoax to believe that the science is real?
Well, I will say this, that people that think that for some reason it's a Trump hoax, they need to just think just a little bit critically, just a little bit, if they can. And I understand they stopped teaching critical thinking years ago in schools, and a lot of people never learned how to think critically. And I'm not saying this to insult people, but critical thinking is a learned skill. It is something that people teach you and that you learn. And if you have not been taught it, some people can pick it up, but other people can't. And so even if you stop testing today and you don't have the numbers of the infections, it does not affect the rate of hospitalizations that has been on the increase and will continue to be on the increase. And so even though they say, oh, well, we're finding out there's more cases because we're testing more, that does not have anything to do with the fact that the number of hospitalizations is continually going up in these states, because people are getting sick and people are dying, and it just doesn't. You can just stop testing altogether, and people are still going to get sick and have to go to the hospital, and people are still going to die from coronavirus. That's just the fact of the matter. So, I mean, you have. What was the other part of your question? I mean, hearing. I don't get me wrong. I'm listening to you, but it's just that part just threw me off so much, because I was listening on the news earlier today when I was hearing Trump saying that I think he was at a speech in Arizona or someplace where he was saying that the pandemic is over, and somebody else was saying that it's behind us. And I'm thinking to myself, no, it's not. Your state, like the state that they were at, had just recorded its highest daily number of infections, and they're trying to say that it's over. And so I'm left feeling like, I think our business people, as much as some of them want to support Trump because Trump is, in some way one of them, even though he's not. They never really looked at Trump as one of them. I think they deal in reality, because if you don't deal in reality, you will lose your money, and you will lose the money of the people that are invested with you. And so for a lot of people out there, they just realize that there's nothing on the horizon right now but a bunch of uncertainty and a bunch of volatility for the market. And and part of that is because if you have to have another shutdown, then yeah, of course, you're going to end up again where you have businesses that can't operate. People are going to be stuck at home. People aren't going to be spending money as much. Things are going to take a serious dip again. You also have the case where if you say, okay, well, we're not going to shut things down, but then all of a sudden now you have states that are, that have just explosions of coronavirus cases and people getting sick and dying, and the hospitals are overwhelmed. Well, eventually what you'll have is people that are just simply not patronizing businesses. And then what happens then, it's even worse for the businesses, because right as it is right now, or as it was, businesses shut down either voluntarily or they were forced to be shut down. And then they got a little bit of relief from this, from, I think, what was it, CARES or something like that, where they were able to get some of the employee, relief funds. But if they try and say, no, we don't need to shut anything down, we're going to leave everything open, but people just simply are not coming out because they're scared. Well, now all of a sudden you have businesses that are going to be looking at shutting down because either one, no one's there to patronize their business, or two, their employees are so scared. Their employees are like, either one, I'm just not coming in, or I quit. One of the two, and then they can't operate their business without their employees, or they end up with a strike. I mean, you're looking at now, the NFL and the NBA and even the NCAA, they're all really, you can hear it in the reports. The leadership of these organizations are scared because they're like on the verge of probably seeing a players strike if they try and force them back to work. These guys are like, no, it's not safe. We're not doing it. They're on the verge of a damn players strike in probably 3 different leagues. And so it's
so. Does it make you feel like we're living amongst a nation? I'm going to use a Republican term that they used to always throw at liberals: snowflakes. We're living in a nation of snowflakes and people who just have no scruples. That right now, there has never been a time than what it is to be living today, where you have every amenity you could possibly want at your home. And most economists are saying we don't have an appetite for another shutdown, but they're also giving credit to the way Governor Cuomo handled the shutdown in New York, which is now on the bottom of cases versus the places that opened up, and my state is included. Do you feel like people are at an impasse where it's kind of like, I can't stay home even though I know this is out there looming? Larry, what can we do? Is there anything that can be done?
I hate to say it, but at this point in time, all we can do is wait. Leadership at the highest levels, Trump needs to be removed from office. He's a danger. He's a clear and present threat to the safety and security of the American people. He needs to be removed from office. I hate to say it, and
I feel you on that. But no matter what he says or does, people still have free will to do what they want to do.
They do, but people take their cues from their leadership. And this is one of those reasons why people really want honorable men and women to serve in positions of power, because people take their cues from them. When Obama was the president, people had a tendency to act like adults because he treated us like adults. He showed us what a responsible, honorable adult looks like and how they behave. And people, as a consequence, at least on the left, had a tendency to act in a manner which was reflective of Obama's own behavior. And And so with Trump on the other end, we're seeing how people are behaving from him. They're taking their cues directly from him. They're acting irresponsibly, they're acting selfishly, they're acting belligerently. I mean, there was a story the other day of some guy who refused to wear a mask going into a Walmart somewhere and fought to get into the store. It's like, you put a mask on. I mean, if there's no difference if you were to walk into a restaurant without your shoes and your shirt and they say, sorry, we've all seen those signs. No shoes, no shirt, no service. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you've ever been to a beach, you probably have seen, especially in those beach communities, no shoes, no shirt, no service. They want people to wear shoes and shirts. The funny thing I always thought of would be, what if someone showed up with a shirt and their shoes and didn't have any pants on? Are you going to refuse some service? But my point still remains that people are taking their cues from the highest levels, and if we have people that are not honorable, that's how people are going to behave. It's going to be trickled down, and so he needs to go. I mean, and I don't say that because I have political differences with him. I say that because he is an actual threat to the safety and security of our country. People are dying. I mean, I think the EU just today banned U.S., Americans from entering the EU. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, for the longest time, for decades, as an American, you could travel to Europe without even a visa. You just it's like traveling to a different state.
Save that part, because we're going to revisit Rona when we get to the money and the stock market portion of this video, because these travel bans worldwide and in the States is one of the issues. We saw a big crash in the stock market, but we'll end it there because we're going to kind of revisit it a little later on. And so the next subject before we move on to movies and TVs, Larry, you know how we talked about just how soft some of these young dudes are nowadays. I mean, their hind parts is nothing but cotton nail soaking in water. Take a look at what this young man did when he tried to holler at this chick. She wasn't having it. And watch what he does. I mean, this is disgusting. Yes, the girl said no, she wasn't feeling him. He pops her in the face with his skateboard. Then he's being recorded, and then he runs up there to tell somebody he's Skeeter Mills. Like, who the hell is you? First of all, next, I read the report. He still hasn't been arrested yet. The ambulance came like 15 minutes later. The girl was still unconscious. They just left her there. And he's all on social media talking big and bad. This is exactly what I mean when I say soft-ass Negroes. That's just no place for doing that, especially not to no woman. But Larry, I'm going to give that generation to you, and I pass the baton to you.
Yeah, I don't think that dude even wanted to talk to that girl. I think you saw the way he was posturing up there. He was up there trying to impress those other guys that were there. I think he's probably angry because he's, and I don't say I have nothing against homosexuals at all, but we have seen how gay men who are closeted can be aggressive and can try and present themselves as hyper heterosexual so that they're not found out. And it really just seemed like all that posturing he was doing and all that was done for the guys that were there. It seemed like maybe he's just a gay dude who was trying to impress the men that were there. Maybe he wanted to see if the men would be impressed with him and he can get with one of them. Because I'm thinking to myself, I've been turned down by women. I never, ever in my life thought, I should hit somebody upside the head with a skateboard or anything else because they said no. My thought is okay, she said no to me coming at her straightforward. Maybe if I come at her from a comical angle, she'll laugh a little bit and I can break that ice. Oh, she doesn't like the comical thing. Maybe I can come at her with a little intellectual bit and maybe she'll connect with me on that point. My thought has never been, let's hit a chick over the head and go try and impress the guys. I've always been like, let's just see what I can do. If I need to, if I'm trying to get at her, I don't know her. I gotta try and figure out how I can get at her. If I don't know her, maybe she likes comedy, maybe she likes intellectual, maybe she just likes a straightforward type dude. Maybe she wants someone who's just, whatever. I don't know, but yeah, that just comes off to me. I think that dude's probably he's probably a tonsil juggler or something,
Yeah, man, Larry, that was straight bitch assness. And to what you were saying, in high school is when you would try to holler at a girl to impress the fellas. I can remember in high school, I used to have this mode that I would call Mac mode, where I would put on a hat that got rid of all my fear, and I would tell the boys, I'm going to holler at this girl that's a senior and my ass is a fat freshman, knowing I ain't going to get nowhere, but when I put on the hat, I'm going to get them. Right. And when I got denied by the hottest cheerleader in the school, I didn't pop her in the face. No. I ran back over to the boys and I lied. I said, did y'all see how she was smiling? She gave me her email address. And, right. She was smiling, but she wasn't smiling because she gave me nothing. She was smiling because, oh, you're so cute, you little freshman. Now get your ass up out of here. You know what I'm saying? So right. I just don't understand what was the purpose in that. That was just a bitch move, period. It don't matter how hard you're trying to appear. It don't matter how you talk about your name, Skeeter Mills. You know what? It probably really is Skeeter Mills or whatever the hell you said, because what you did reflects that stupid ass name you calling yourself. But I'm just saying, man, fellas, we gotta do better than that. You can do better than that.
First of all, there's no place for violence like that for any reasons. I mean, unless that chick had a gun on you and she was about to shoot you and you hit her upside the head with a skateboard in self-defense. Other than that, there's no reason to hit a woman. It just doesn't make any sense at all. It's just, and because she didn't want to talk to you. It's just all I can say. That dude, that is the behavior of a moist ass dude. That's just some moist ass dude. He's probably up there, his boys probably got him all riled up. His panties are probably wet, Mm-hmm. He's probably riding skateboard wearing a freaking pink G-string or something because he's,
man.
No, man, I'm talking about him. I can't stand them little fuckers like that. Excuse my French. It sickens me to see that. Why? Why?
Yeah, it makes the male race look horrible. And on top of that, black male race look horrible.
Right.
Period.
So, and I'll tell you, part of it, and this is one of the things that all that false bravado, people can see right through that. Women can see right through false bravado. So when you step to a woman, you could be like you said, a fat, short freshman in high school. You could be a tall, gangly dude that weighs 125 pounds and being 6'5". You could be a broke dude that hasn't had a haircut in 6 months. You could be all kinds of stuff. But if you have confidence, if you can step to somebody with confidence, because you're not trying to front like you're somebody else, you just step to them like, this is me. This is all of me. I'm throwing myself at you. This is the whole bit of me right here. There's no need for me to front or to try and present me as something I'm not. This is it. Women, not just women, men, everybody, they understand and they feel that confidence when you present that to them, and they respond to it accordingly. I have kicked it to people. I'll tell you, this is a ridiculous story. One time I went out I was literally just in the midst of a horrible breakup. I had just broke up with this girl, like, I don't know, maybe a week beforehand. It was terrible. Anyways, a buddy of mine that worked with my brother, he had this client that said, hey, I'm going to give you guys a free Hummer limo for the night. So we basically had this limo, and we just went from club to club hopping. So we went out there, and there was this club, I think it was Las Palmas or something. It was one of these big fancy Hollywood clubs where the celebs used to hang out. So we rolled up, and we rolled up to the to the club. As soon as we got out, right behind us was another limo, and Hugh Hefner had got out with like 9 girls. And so we just rolled up there and just dipped in. I was like, yo, Hugh, let me roll in with you. He was like, yeah, come on, because he saw us hop out the limo. So we rolled right past security. Confidence. And then I was up on I was up in the dance club. And I don't know if you remember these three girls called the Dom triplets. They were playmates at the same time. They're identical triplets. I rolled up and said, and I knew their names, but I didn't know which one was which. So I just rolled up and shot by shot. I said, hey, so-and-so, hey, you're so-and-so. She was like, and I just got lucky. She was like, how'd you know it was me? I was like, because you're the best looking one out of the three. And then she just laughed, and I was like, you want to dance? She was like, well, I can't dance without my sisters. And I was like, well, then I guess I'll have to dance with all three of you. So people in this club were confused, like, who is this dude dancing with the Dom triplets? But it's all about confidence. It's just a matter if you just go and shoot your shot. You don't have to worry about hitting somebody upside the head with a skateboard or calling somebody a B word or any of the other BS. All you have to do is shoot your shot. You're going to get shot down. It's not like I haven't I've gotten shot down by girls that I thought weren't even all that great looking. I was like, damn, really? You're shooting me down? But, you get shot down sometimes.
Right. And in the comment section, Buzz and Mike Willie are both sitting here saying, like, okay, this girl gets popped in the face with a skateboard. And you got all these other men, instead of going to help the chick, just sitting there dapping up Skeeter Ball 3 No Nuts, whatever his name was. Instead of going and being men, going checking on the girl, they just standing there dapping him up. The whole crew. Yep, the whole crew, soft as cotton nail. Aisle number 10.
They're a whole bunch of moist panty dripping ass fake dudes. That's what they are.
Yep. Whole bunch
of them. That's what they are. And when I say moist ass dudes, I'm not saying, like, I say this and partially saying these are probably like dudes trying to impress each other because they're probably closeted gay, but I'm not saying this in the sense that gay dudes are always like this, because honestly, I believe that if it was some other gay dude that wasn't worried about what some dude was thinking, they just would have went and helped him. Gay people are just like anybody else. If they see something horrible, they're going to step in and try and help. But these people right here, those are the types of folks. They're so worried about what their friends or their boys are going to say. They're so busy trying to impress each other that they just simply can't do the right thing, And when and this is one of those, and I know this sounds cliche, but this is one of those times when your parents say, choose your friends wisely. That's one of those times, because if you don't feel that you can do the right thing in front of your friends, then you don't have the right friends. You should always be able to step up. Like if one of your friends does something stupid or you see something horrible and your friends are not doing, you should be able to step up and do something. And they may later say, oh man, I should have helped you. I was wrong. That was messed up. I saw what happened. You stepped up and you stepped up and I just kind of left you hanging, man. I feel bad now. Or they see you step up and they step up with you. They just need someone that gives them the okay to do the right thing too. But if you're with friends where you don't feel like it's okay to do the right thing, you need to choose better friends.
Exactly. Fellas and everybody, we're going to move right along. I want to shout out my big homie Muchella. What you doing, Muchella, from the New York area? How you doing tonight? We appreciate you coming through. Yep, the Mooch. Matter of fact, Muchella, we getting ready to talk about a show that you love, a show that me and Larry love. We're talking about Hightown, episode 6. We're going to do a small recap, but I picked out one of our most favorite moments, and I think you like this one too. Take a look. And I mean, they about to use some foul language. So if you got kids watching this show, you might want to tell them to turn away. Woo! We've been trying to tell y'all this show is intense.
Yeah, now, it's good.
The look that she put on her face when he started talking about Cox let you know that was some good acting. She was detested by the thought of a cop. She ain't trying to hear nothing about no cops. And I felt like that was a boss move on her part to show up in this jail. But what happened in that scene was he didn't tell it, but now she knows someone has been ratting on her, and that kind of gave her the ammunition to look into possible people. And she figured it out that it's Junior that's the one that's been telling all her business. But we've only got 2 episodes of the show left, ladies and gentlemen. Larry, how are they going to wrap up all these stories? You've got Renee falling in love with Officer Saberho. You've got Acito thinking about ditching Frank, but he's going to have to try to kill Jackie. You got Junior spiraling out of control. And then you got Officer Saberho himself, who I don't know if he's really wrapped up in Renee or if he really is just going to try to figure out who else was involved in the Krista story. What's going to happen, Larry?
Yeah, I don't know. This is a tough one to call. I think it's going to go either one of 2 ways. I think first of all, I don't think she's getting killed no matter what. She'll be around. She's the main character of the show, so they're not taking her out. But I think what's going to happen is either what's his name? What's her friend's name? The ex-junkie? Junior. I think either Junior's gonna have to come around to her side and tell her, hey, look, this is what's been going on, and really sort of work with her and come and get on the right side again, or he's gonna get his cherry popped, he's gonna kill somebody, and then he's gonna be completely dirty at that point. He's gonna be just a straight gangster at that point, and we'll see how that turns out. I think the way that the writers are setting it up, I think it's probably more likely that he'll become a gangster, because if he goes on the other side and tries to go clean and be with Jackie, they'll have to kill him. And I'm not sure they're going to kill him. So I think he's going to go straight gangster.
Larry, he's done. Stick a fork in him, pull him off the grill for 4th of July. His ass is done.
Really?
And Frankie getting out of jail. Oh, you can cool believe something about to happen where Frankie is going to get out of jail. He's going to be gunning for Officer Saberho, and I'm really worried about what's going to happen to Renee. I don't want Renee to die. I want her to stay at least another season. And I don't think they would kill her because she's the mother of Frankie's kid, and they ain't about to give him custody of the child.
Right.
But Junior, you might as well say he's as good as dead, and Frankie's going to get out of jail. But that still leaves Acito. Is Acito going to break from Frankie, start his own drug business with his uncle? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, maybe so. It'll be interesting to see if he ends up taking over his uncle's business, because I don't see him as the type of dude that's going to work underneath somebody for that long. I feel like I think he's got the itch right now to branch out and to spread out. I mean, with Frankie in jail, he's been sort of he's sort of been like his own boss for a while. And so I think his wanting to go over to work with his uncles, because I think he's feeling like Frankie's about to get out. He wants to go work, doing his own thing. With working with his uncle, he's basically just getting his dope from him, which leaves him the ability to have his own business up and running, and his uncle's just his supplier. But I wouldn't be surprised if somehow he ends up taking over that whole business. So I don't know. We'll see, man. This is one of the things I like about this show, is that I'm not really sure where they're going with it. Like, there are some minor details about things where are going to happen, but the overall story arc, I'm not really sure where they're going with it. So it's fun to watch. And part of me doesn't even want to really think about it too hard and figure it out, because I don't want to figure it out. I want to enjoy it in the moment and see it and be surprised by it. So
well, you're running with the wrong partner, because I love trying to figure it out, and I get just as much as enjoyment of seeing it unfold. Whether my prediction is right or wrong, it's still enjoyable to watch. It's like putting a bet on a football game. I like football, but when I got a bet on it, it's more intense. So when I try to put my own story together and figure it out, it makes it more intense. But
I will say this, Muchella said in the comments that Junior's going to have to kill Acito, but he's too afraid. I think, Muchella, I think you're right. I think now that you mentioned this, what I think may come down to is that Junior is going to have to kill Acito, because Acito's going to go to kill Jackie. And even though he's afraid, like he knows right now he needs to probably kill Osito, but he's afraid, like you said. But when it comes down to him saving his friend or letting her get taken out, is when he's gonna have to nut up and he's gonna decide he's gonna put his loyalty towards his friend over his fear, and he's probably gonna take Osito out. But then that's gonna leave him at odds with Frankie when Frankie gets out. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But Junior, he's soft in the hind parts too, man. I don't see him killing Osito. He's Junior is the weak link in all this. He's the weak link, and I think that at some point in time, with all the pressure coming down on Junior's head, he's going to relapse back into doing drugs and alcohol. I could see that coming too, and that's probably when he's. I
just don't see him getting taken out because they've spent some time and energy in building up his character, showing us him going to these going to AA meetings, leading group therapies at the prison, showing his relationship with his mother's his baby's mother and the child, and then going to the family cookout and the relationship that he has with them and trying to make all this. They've spent a considerable amount of time developing his character. And so I feel like I just don't feel like they're ready to get rid of him yet. I feel like they need something more to build up to getting rid of him. Because right now, I feel like most of us sort of understand who he is, but I don't think we care about him yet. And I don't think you want to kill somebody off until you care about him on some level. Either care about him because you like him or care about him because you hate him. I feel like we need a reason. They need a reason to take him out. And I don't,
Well, I mean, now you sound like Crystal. Crystal felt that way about Krista. She was starting to root for that character because she was kind of back and forth. She was stuck in a bad place. She seen her friend die. She ain't got no money. She done lost her sugar daddy. She's in the hotel Rwanda doing whatever she needed to do. And when she reached out to Jackie, that was kind of a moment building situation where it's like, okay, this girl really want to get her life together, and then she pops up dead.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna go by your theory, they ain't gonna kill nobody. I mean, they done spent too much time developing everybody else that's left. You can't kill Renee.
What they could do?
You gonna kill Frankie or Osito?
They're not gonna kill Frankie. I'm not sure they're going to kill Osito. They could. I feel like they need to kill a more minor character. Junior is too integral to the story for them to kill just yet. Frankie, they've been building him up. They're not going to kill him yet. I wouldn't be surprised if, like you said, he got out of jail either because his time is up or some technicality, something. I wouldn't be surprised if he got out. But I feel like something else, like maybe they do something like Osito, Osito tries to do something with to Junior and accidentally shoots his wife or something, or maybe Junior ends up relapsing, he's back on that dope, and so all of a sudden his world's upside down. Something to that effect. I just don't think they're going to kill him yet. As the person I think might get killed because they've shown him enough, but he's not really integral to the story, is the black cop. I can see him getting taken out because they can go after. I can see Frankie getting out and going after what's the cop that's seeing the stripper? What's his name again?
Officer Save a Ho.
Officer Save a Ho, right? So
his real name is Ray.
I know, but they called him Officer Save a Ho in there too. But I can see Frankie getting out of jail, going after Ray. And in the midst of going after Ray, ends up like maybe there's a shootout, and instead of shooting and killing Ray, he ends up shooting and killing Ray's partner. I can see that happening. And then Ray at that point goes completely off the rails.
Yeah, I can rock with that. I can rock with that. Or I can see something happening where they keep. Do you remember the couple of scenes where Osito went to his uncle's house?
Mm-hmm.
And have you noticed how they focus on how nosy the daughter or whoever that little girl is that they keep sending to go get the drugs?
Right.
I don't know what they're going to do with her, but obviously the filmmakers are focusing in on this girl and her being nosy for some reason.
Yeah,
You know,
she's going to play a bigger role coming soon. She's going to play a bigger role.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, it's not too late. Go check out Hightown on Stars app, man. It is really good. And now we're moving to a subject Larry has a lot of interest in. That's the comics. And in particular today, we're talking about DC. Larry hit me with an article talking about the Green Lantern and everything they're trying to do with Green Lantern. They're trying to make a whole Green Lantern universe, which they really can because they do have a good story arc. I was unable to load the video, so I'm gonna just kind of talk you guys through what they're doing at the Comic-Con event they're doing. So they talked about they're going to be having a Green Lantern TV series, live action TV series coming on the DC app and HBO Max. And it's not going to be tied to the CW stories, but they are going to be having something involving Green Lantern on CW, but it's not going to partner with the show on HBO Max and the DC app. But what is going to partner with the DC app show is the movie Green Lantern, which right now they're planning on having Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. And guess who's the latest in the runnings? Tyrese was in the runnings, but they said they're really not about to mess with him. So for Jon Stewart, and this person I think would be the perfect Jon Stewart, Sterling K. Brown. Yes, make him Jon Stewart Green Lantern. He said he's ready. He wants it. He met with them. They had good talks, and they didn't say anything defamatory about him in the way that they said about Tyrese. Now, if you guys don't know Sterling K. Brown, he's an Academy Award winner. He plays in the what's that show that the women really, really like?
Army Wives?
No, well, he played in the Army Wives, but he also played Killmonger's daddy in Black Panther. But he's also on, God, what is that show? Not The Last of Us. I
know what you're saying. One of those sad sack. One of those sad shows.
But dude can act his butt off. I'm a big fan of his. I hope he gets the role. And they're thinking about casting Tom Cruise in the movie, but from what I read, those talks have broken down. But to make this long story short, so Larry can give us what he thinks, you're going to have a CW version of Green Lantern. You're going to have the HBO series Green Lantern. Then you're going to have the movie. The movie and the HBO series are going to tie to each other. Larry, are you excited for all this?
I am, man. I am. I'm looking forward to it. I hope that because this is going to be on HBO Max and on the DC app, that they get a little bit gritty with it.
Oh yeah.
I hope that is not some typical DC live action fluff and stuff. I really hope that they go get some directors and some writers that are really going to just make it fun and gritty and for grown-ups. Forget about the kids. Let the kids watch it 5 or 10 years from now when they get a little bit older. Leave it for the older folks to enjoy this, you know? So I think you can, because you have, I mean, the kids have Wonder Woman, they have Superman, they have Batman, you know. I think this would be great to make it really sort of fun and over the top. And to have the TV show tie into the movie, I think would be fantastic.
Well, so far, the shows that I've seen on the DC app, their new shows, and in particular, Titans, that show is dark, gritty, and man, it's entertaining. They don't pull no punches on Larry. If you haven't seen Titans, the show, you need to watch it. They break bones. They got adult-based themes. They even be having sex.
What?
Oh, it's dark. It's adult.
We got some superhero babies jumping off?
Well, I mean, Nightwing ain't got no super baby sperm in him, but the chick he having sex with might produce something like that. But you need to check it out, man. If you and I recommend to everybody else, including Muchella, who is on all that stuff, check out Titans on the DC app. She's watched Doom Patrol, and it's okay. And I've seen Doom Patrol too, but Titans is at another level.
Is it also on HBO Max now? I know that they're moving some of that stuff over to both platforms. Is it strictly on DC?
It's for now. I think it's strictly on DC. I haven't seen it on HBO Max. And just a side note to HBO Max, if you really want people to come pay $15 for your damn app, you got to step your game up. I looked at that free trial. That shit was horrible. Horrible. If you're trying to get those pre-sale numbers up before they get the DC stuff there, before the Snyder Cut is released, you either got to drop the price or you got to put more content up there, because right now I can't recommend it to nobody. Nope.
Yeah, that's and that's the tough part, I think, with all of these streaming services, is that everybody wants their little piece of the pie. Everybody wants you to pay, $10 here, $7 there, $5, $12, $14. Everybody wants you to pay all these things, and you really need to have a good amount of content for people to want to come over there, or you need to have content that's so compelling people are willing to go there. Like Disney Plus doesn't have the most amount of content, but their content is really, really compelling. When you start talking about all the Star Wars movies, all the Marvel movies, you have all the Superman, all the Star Wars animated stuff. When you have all the traditional Disney stuff. There's a lot of content that's very compelling to people, even if they don't have the volume that some place like Netflix has. Right. And that's the other thing. When you start talking about, if you're going to pay for a streaming service, you're going to pay $14.99 for HBO Max, or you're going to pay $14.99 to get like the 4K streaming version of Netflix. And, now, you look at Netflix, you have access to, I don't know how many hundreds of thousands of episodes of TV and thousands of movies and everything else, and stand-up episodes, show specials. And there's a ton of stuff on Netflix. As a pure value, there is nothing else out there that beats it. And so if you're going to compete against something like that, you can't come at the same price point. You have to come cheaper. And I get where HBO's problem is. They can't go too cheap. They can't say, okay, well, we're only going to go $7.99 for HBO Max, because if you do that, you lose all of your cable-based HBO subscribers. Because HBO for if you have cable and you subscribe to HBO, that right there, I think, is like $10-12 a month, depending on what specials you have or whatever. But if all of a sudden you get HBO Max for like $7.99, everybody would just cancel their HBO, get HBO Max, because you get the same thing. Everything that's on HBO is on HBO Max, and so they're in a tough predicament, but they need to figure something out, because you're right. I mean, unless all of a sudden they just go on a serious buying spree and buy up rights to all kinds of stuff, I can't see too many people wanting to spend $15 a month for HBO Max. It's just too much money.
Yeah, it's not going to happen right now. Just not going to happen. And maybe they need to get to a point where maybe they'll, sucker people in by, we'll give you 6 months for $10 or something like that. When I got Disney Plus, I caught a special where it only cost me $65 for the whole year. And I get up there, like Larry said, you've got Marvel. You've got the cartoons from Marvel. You've got all the old Disney stuff plus the new Disney stuff. Then you've got the Pixar stuff. Then you've got the Star Wars stuff. And they also have the Space Channel up there. And they got National Geographics up there as well. You got all this stuff for some nerdy dudes to watch, but you got something for every phase of the family. And HBO Max just doesn't have that right now. They're going to have to put you on some kind of introduction drip drive before I can recommend that you mess with HBO Max.
Yeah, if they had a special like like Disney Plus did with like Disney Plus, ESPN Plus, and Hulu for I think that bundle right there, I think, is $14.99. If they had something like that where you can get like HBO Max and some other streaming service, and then like Spotify or something or whatever, that would be fantastic.
Yeah,
but
be worth it then. Mm-hmm.
yeah, but they need some extra. They need something extra, something to entice people to come in and stay in. So
Right, and they don't have it right now. So,
yeah,
but we'll keep an eye on it for you, ladies and gentlemen. Now we're to the section that a lot of y'all sit there and wait for, the financial section. What are we talking about in stocks and bonds? And today, ladies and gentlemen, it was a bloody red day across stocks and bonds. But you know, I preach to you guys. You invest in stocks, meaning that you're going to hold it for a period of 5 years or more. When I do make recommendations of stuff you should hold less, I encourage you to do your research because I'm giving you my tips. And my tips for today is about 7 oil and oil tanker stocks you should take a look at. But first, let's just kind of go back and recall exactly why we took a stark dip today in your stock portfolios. Take a look at this news clip, and then we'll break it down and give you guys those stocks we're mentioning.
Oklahoma is one of 24 states that are now reporting spikes in coronavirus cases. In North Carolina, the number of hospitalizations hit a record for each of the past 5 days. And meanwhile, Florida is now reporting more than 4,000 cases a day. And listen to what Florida's governor said late this afternoon about Governor Cuomo's threat of possibly quarantining Floridians when they arrive in New York.
Well, I think governors have, prerogative to do what they need to do. I would just ask if that's done, just please do not quarantine any Floridians in the nursing homes in New York.
For the record, Florida just had to implement emergency testing rules in nursing homes after a spike in cases and deaths.
Ladies and gentlemen, that ban or that quarantine, if you come from Florida, well, Governor Cuomo, also the governor of Connecticut and the governor of New York have put that ban/quarantine in place because they have taken great preventative steps to get the numbers down in their state. Now, mind you, New York is the home of Wall Street. And when Cuomo came out and said that, a lot of people just got a little upset about it. The airlines start tanking. Oil, which has been tanking and was starting to grow as of yesterday, it went down some more. And he's going to do this quarantine ban to 7 states, and North Carolina is included. Texas is included. Alabama is included. Florida is included. Louisiana is included because these states start opening up too fast. Now their infection rate is just going out the roof, and Cuomo has worked hard, in his opinion, to get his state in a good place. And when the stock market heard that he was going to do this, it made them have a tizzy. However, ladies and gentlemen, whenever there's a dip in the stock market, that is a great opportunity to either do one of 2 things: buy and hold for the long term, or do your research as best you can. Listen to a lot of views, do a little research on yourself, follow us and some of the things we try to do, and buy some stocks that can make you money because there's going to be a sharp turnaround. So in that instance, you're buying a short-term stock, something that you're only going to hold for maybe 6 months. And so having said that, here's a list of oil tanker stocks and oil drilling companies I found that you can buy right now that took a horrible dip below $1. Below $1. Take a look at this mess right here. Oh, man, y'all not going to be able to see that. Whiting Petroleum, ticker symbol WLL. Compton Petroleum, ticker symbol CPE. Daisy Petroleum, ticker symbol DAS. Ugon Energy, ticker symbol OCGN. Pacific Drilling, PACD, ticker symbol. And Synergy, ticker symbol SHIP, SHIP. Each and every one of them is below $1 except for Whiting Petroleum and Galleon Petroleum. Both of those have seen a 52-week high, ladies and gentlemen, of $15. Within the last year, they've been $15. And the other ones, I looked at each and every one of them, and each and every one of those other ones saw a high that was between $8 to $10. And this was in February, so pre-COVID. So what I'm saying is, on any of those stocks that's below $1, if I'm investing, I'm going to spend $50 probably on each one of them and see which one comes out on top. One of them is going to get the recovery because oil was already starting to surge yesterday before Cuomo said he's putting a ban, and New York's got one or two of the biggest airports in the world. So you're not going to be just getting up in there, and that kind of made the prices go flat again. Having said that, Larry, will you be buying any of these oil stocks?
I'll have to do some research on them, but I mean, there were a couple that I was looking at. There was one that was a stock that was a company that did oil tankers, and another one that did oil platforms. And so, these are companies that have, their need for them is never going away. Their demand might be fairly low right now because people just aren't moving oil the way they used to, but eventually things will go back to the way they were, at some point. I mean, I don't think these are stocks that you necessarily buy and think you're going to flip and trade and make a huge profit on in a day or two. But if you hold on to them for a few months, I think you can make some decent money off of them. So
yeah,
I'm going to do some more research on them, but I'm likely going to pick up a few of them.
Yeah, and ladies and gentlemen, one thing I'm going to do, as me and Larry are talking about doing more of these Robinhood investing stocks, I'm going to clean up my portfolio. I'm going to start showing you my progress as I go, because I'm going to pick up some of those stocks too. And I've got my portfolio organized into the questions you should be asking yourself as an investor. Is this a short-term play or a long-term play? Or how much you're willing to risk? And what is your end game? Always think about that when you're picking your stocks. What's the risk? What is the end game? Short-term or long-term play? And for me, these oil stocks, the tanker stocks, they are a short-term play because they will get back between now and whenever we can turn the corner from Corona. They'll be back up into at least $5. And if a share right now is 25 cents, and you go buy 50 shares and it goes back up to $5 or whatever, you do the math on that. Sell it, get your money back, invest it in something else. And that's exactly what my plan is. But the bigger picture here is, ladies and gentlemen, we really need people to understand that by not heeding the warnings of COVID, by not putting on a mask every time you leave the house, trying not to go to as many places unless you absolutely have to, you're prolonging this agony. You're prolonging that other states are going to wind up having to ban other states from coming in, or you're going to come into the state and be quarantined for 14 days.
Yeah.
Help us out here. Help us out here.
I think, and here's another point, and I know this, I'm not sure if this is going to happen or not, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. Is that, we've already seen that. I think it was just today, the UN, the EU basically said, Americans can't travel to the EU countries right now because of COVID, and it's out of control in our country. I would not be at all surprised if Donald Trump and his petty, vindictive self started to talk about, we're going to have some sort of trade sanctions against European nations. And if that happens, you talk about a stock market taking a dump on itself. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, just be aware and see it, be ready for it. Because I would not be surprised. It just happened today that they started. I think that they actually said that they were putting restrictions on U.S. Travelers to the EU. So I would not be surprised if by tomorrow we're already hearing Donald Trump start talking crazy, some sort of crazy retaliation against them. And that's going to cause even further market fluctuations.
And, they're already fluctuating somewhat on this threat that we might be messing up our trade agreement with China. Right. They're worried about that now as we speak. I employ anyone who loves Trump that's listening to our voice, which I doubt is maybe one or two people, and want to get information that's outside the box. You don't have to go to some far lefty place that you would call. Get outside your bubble of the far right and go to a business channel. Go to a Bloomberg station. Go to a CNBC. Hell, even go to Fox News when they're talking about stocks. These are people who their angle is strictly the financial part. They really don't care about your health, no more than your health, you being sick, hurts them from making money. That's their dog in the show. So
and if you don't trust them, go to Barron's, go to the Financial Times,
any one of them,
Wall Street Journal, go to any of them. If you don't trust the news stations, go to one of those publications and just read the news.
Right. And listen to what these guys are saying. Most of these people that write these articles are Republicans, because anytime a Dem gets in there and threatens to raise taxes, it pinches their bottom line for a short window, only for them to come back and overall make more money than what they would have made. But that's besides the point. Anyway, I said all that to say, go somewhere that's business oriented to get your news outside the bubble. And then you'll see why people are pulling their hair out. And some of them don't even have hair, but they're still finding little crubs to pull out their head, because this stuff about not believing in Corona, not heeding the warnings, is just blowing their mind, blowing mine too. Having said that, Larry, the last word is on you, and we up out of here.
Yeah, just remember that whether you're a Trump supporter or not, you can listen to these people try and will the coronavirus away, but that's not going to protect you. It's not going to protect me. It's not going to protect our society in general. So I will say this again, today it's interesting. When my wife asked me if I wanted to go for a walk today, so we went for a walk, and we were out. She asked me, I think it was either right when we were left, before we left, or when we were out. She asked me, she said, when we go out, or when you're out and you have to be around other people, is it stress inducing to you? And I said, yeah, it is. It is stress inducing to me, because obviously I have no idea what this person has or hasn't, or who they've been around. But what I'm seeing the vast majority of the time is people not wearing masks. I mean, when I was out, I was out today going for a walk, and I think it was yesterday when I was out, because it was my wife's birthday, and we were out. We drove way out and about, and went fruit picking at a farm. And you have to try and find activities that are socially distant. So we drove out and went fruit picking. But when we were driving and seeing people on the streets, or when we went to drop off a present at her sister's house, everywhere we seemed to go, people weren't wearing masks. There would maybe be like 10 to 20% of the people wearing masks. Everybody else, they weren't. And I just want to remind people, if they don't watch the news, if they don't believe it, it's still there. The virus is still out there. It is still getting people sick. It is still killing people. And whether or not I saw somebody on my channel today, on one of my videos up there, trying to tell people, don't worry about coronavirus. It doesn't affect people like you. It's only really affecting all these old people that are in old folks' homes. That is simply not true. What these hospitals are reporting are that they are seeing more and more cases of young people coming in that are terribly sick. People are not going into the hospital with coronavirus because they feel just a little under the weather. They're not going in there because they're having mild symptoms. They're going in there because these people are damn near dead and they can't breathe and they need to be hospitalized. And so when you're having young people get in there, just remember that. So there's a lot of people out there spreading these fallacies, and some people just believe this stuff, or some people want to wish it away because they're tired of being in the house and want to go out and work or run their business. But remember, this stuff will kill you. And it will kill other people if you don't protect your neighbors and allow your neighbors to protect you. So wear a mask.
And it will kill the economy.
It will kill the economy.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, look, I know we've been locked down since March, and I feel you. Some things that should have been done better. Number one, all the money that the big corporations ran away with should have never went to their asses. That money should have strictly been to organizations that have 100 or less people firsthand, so that you could get through this period. Because those are the people that are hurting. Those are the ones who are saying they need money the most. Because, like my man Mike Willie was saying, His governor in Michigan just lost a suit against gyms, and the gyms here in North Carolina are trying to do the same thing to our governor. But what do we know from being medical people? The gym is going to be a petri dish, and you're not wearing a mask in a gym working out when your ventilation is going to have your heart rate higher than 130 in most cases. You're liable to pass out from something else. And so those are situations where a place like that, unless you're going to be in a box, and I've seen this in California, they have little boxes where they put people inside, let you work out in there by yourself, and when you're done, you come out, somebody goes in there and clean it. Unless you're going to take those kind of measures, you're going to slow down the growth of the economy by you carrying COVID, not being symptomatic. Then you walk around someone who's at a predisposition to get it, like me or Larry or anybody. They go to their job, get everybody sick. A business got to shut down that way.
Right.
Just think about that. Then you're going to shut the economy down all over again. And who knows, are you going to rely on Daddy Trump to give out more money? He gave it out the first time, but did he give it out to the people that really need it? And most of the people that really need it, that want to vote for him, don't understand the backdoor giveaway that the corporations just got. You don't get that. To you, either you don't get it or you don't care about it. And at the end of the day, if you really come from this thing and you care about the economy, we all need to just chill out for a little while. The states with the number going up, you need to be on pure lockdown. Wearing masks need to be enforced by businesses that remain open so that we can get over this thing and get back to something normal. That's all I gotta say.
And remember this, remember this. When everybody shut down because the government says we need to shut down, there's no stigma attached to it. When a bar or a restaurant is shut down because the government says everybody is shut down, there's no stigma attached. But if all of a sudden a bar opens up and this wait staff gets sick, the bartender gets sick, your customers are getting sick, and the health department comes in and basically smacks a sticker on your door and says, you guys are shut down, in some states, they've already talked about where they've temporarily suspended people's liquor licenses for 30 days because people are going to their establishments and getting sick. When you have that sticker slapped on your front door saying you're shut down or you can't serve liquor, guess what? There's a stigma attached to that. People are going to say, oh, no, I'm not going there. That's that Corona bar. That's that place where all those people got sick. I'm not going there. That doesn't go away. That just simply does not go away. What happens is you will have right now businesses that are forced to close, and when the ban is lifted, the quarantine is lifted, they come back, and no one is stigmatized. But now, if places are getting shut down here and there and there and there because people are getting sick at their establishments, and the wait staff and the people that work there have coronavirus, now there's a stigma, and the customers won't go back. Even if that business opens back up, the customers are simply going to just be like, I'm not going back. And what does that mean? That means that business is dead in the water. It is dead man walking. People will just not patronize it, and they will go out of business for good. So it is. People need to understand short-term gains is just not always the way to go. Sometimes you have to think about your long-term. Not all money is good money, as they say. And sometimes, in this case, short-term money is not good money.
Yep. I mean, to some degree, Larry, people acting like children. Young children, the boogeyman could be standing directly in front of your face. A child put his hand up, they think it's gone, but the boogeyman is still standing right there. But just because the child can't see it, they think he's gone. And this is exactly what we're dealing with, ladies and gentlemen. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's gone. None of us see the strongest force on earth, which is gravity, but we know it's keeping our ass pulled to the floor. And we need you guys to know that taking preventative measures, which is about the only way we can fight this thing, you're just causing more damage to the economy long term. And yes, I know you want your sports, you want to get out, you want to go. Yeah, I get all that. But you're going to want to do these things around Christmas and Thanksgiving. Right. And if we can't even get our act together now, heaven forbid what's going to happen when we get cold, then every district I know is saying they're sending their children back to school. They're saying that they don't have a choice. And I'm telling you, we've seen this happen in American history before. And if we're going to behave like this, we're going to get what's coming to us. So, Larry, take us out of here, man.
Yeah, just, be kind to other people and wear a mask. Wear a real mask. Don't wear one of those masks with a valve. If you have a mask with a valve on it that lets all of your I can never say the doggone word, your exhalation. Yes, if you have a mask that's letting out all of your exhalation, just get rid of it. Throw it away or put it in the closet and wait till COVID's over and you're just using it for something else. But that mask is doing nothing at all. It is not protecting you because the masks are not designed to protect you, and those masks are not protecting your fellow man. And if you have an N95 mask with a valve on there that actually does protect you, well, you're being selfish in some regards because you're being protected, but you're also spewing out all of your stuff. And those masks you should not be wearing those. You should just wear a simple mask that's gonna prevent your I can't get that damn word out ever.
Exhalation.
Exhalation, man. I'll tell you, I used to be able to say it, and for some reason I got tongue. Exhalation. If you need to just make sure that you have a mask that's going to prevent your exhalation from getting spewed out there, because otherwise you're just going to allow other people to get sick. So anyways, you guys, that's it. That's my thing. Wear a mask, wear a mask, wear a mask, and it protects you by protecting others. And when others wear them, it protects you and you protect them. It's just that simple. So
Yep. All right, y'all. Well, having said that, we'll be back in here on Friday night. Stay tuned. I'm going to try to get my first video up about my child's channel maybe by Sunday or Monday. We're literally 2 weeks away from delivering my first child, so I'll try to get that out to you guys. Stay tuned for it. Don't forget to like this video, comment, subscribe. And until that next Sexy as Hell video, me and Larry, we'll see you.
Peace.
Peace.